Welcome to today's Explainer. So, we are jumping straight into what is arguably the ultimate cosmic detective story. Do aliens actually exist? I mean, it's a question that's literally captivated us since the moment we looked up and realized those lights in the sky were completely different worlds. Today, we're skipping the fluff and diving straight into the hard evidence.
Okay, let's kick things off with the absolute core question driving this entire investigation. Our Milky Way galaxy alone, it's packing at least 100 billion stars. And honestly, as we keep finding more and more exoplanets, it's looking incredibly likely that the vast majority of those stars have at least one planet orbiting them. So, with all that cosmic real estate out there, is it really possible that Earth is the only one to ever develop life?
Now, right off the bat, we kind of have to separate fact from fiction. Pop culture is totally obsessed with little green men, human-like aliens, and unidentified aerial phenomena. But the scientific reality, it looks very, very different. If we look at Earth's history, where life was literally just microscopic for its first 3 billion years, the extraterrestrials we're actually most likely to find aren't going to be flying saucers. They're going to be microbes and extremophiles, just thriving in these unimaginably harsh conditions, like deep inside thick ice or highly acidic pools.
So, the crucial piece of the puzzle is figuring out how we actually look for these organisms. And that brings us to astrobiology. It's essentially the study of the origin, evolution, and distribution of life across the universe. Right now, NASA astrobiologists are actively scouring places like Mars with rovers, hunting for past microbial life in ancient, dried-up riverbeds. Plus, they're looking incredibly closely at icy moons in our outer solar system, places like Europa and Enceladus, to figure out exactly what kind of hidden subsurface environments might support biology.
But here's the thing. Astrobiologists aren't just digging around for ancient clues. We actually have some incredibly exciting breaking news on this front. Using data from the absolutely revolutionary James Webb Space Telescope, astronomers have recently detected potential biosignatures floating around in the atmosphere of a distant exoplanet. It's a real game changer. Let's get into the specifics, because the clues Webb picked up on this exoplanet, which is called K218b, are absolutely fascinating. It's sitting about 124 light-years away from us. First off, Webb detected methane and carbon dioxide, which are already fantastic starting points for habitability. But the absolute blockbuster clue? It picked up a strong, super clear signal of a chemical called dimethyl sulfide, or DMS. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, because here on Earth, DMS is produced almost exclusively by living organisms, specifically marine phytoplankton. And finding that specific chemical makes total sense when you realize what kind of planet K218b actually might be. It perfectly fits the profile of a Hycean world. These are planets larger than Earth that might be hiding massive, globe-spanning liquid oceans right beneath thick, hydrogen-rich atmospheres. So K218b is a prime suspect for an alien ocean that could be teeming with biology. Now, to be fair, it's not a 100% confirmed discovery of life just yet. Scientists definitely need a bit more observation time to lock it in. But it is hands down the strongest evidence we've ever had. But, we don't always have to look deep into other star systems. Sometimes the mysteries actually come right to us. So let's shift our investigation a bit closer to home and talk about the Oumuamua mystery. Back in 2017, astronomers detected the very first large interstellar object passing straight through our solar system. And guys, it behaved really, really strangely. Here is where it gets incredibly fascinating. The Galileo project, led by Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, has been rigorously investigating this object because its behavior completely defied natural explanations. Oumuamua showed absolutely no cometary outgassing, so no tail at all. Yet as it moved, it experienced this bizarre excess push away from the sun, seemingly propelled by the reflection of sunlight. So the Galileo project poses a genuinely provocative question. Could this have been an artificial object? Maybe even some kind of extraterrestrial light sail? They're actually actively designing space missions right now to intercept the next object like it, just so we can get a high-resolution photograph. So whether we're talking about microscopic ocean life or ancient alien probes, we inevitably run headfirst into a massive mathematical contradiction. 2 trillion. That is the estimated number of galaxies in the observable universe. Let that sink in. 2 trillion galaxies, each packed with billions of stars, and yet the cosmos seems awfully quiet. And that staggering number leads us directly into the famous Fermi paradox, named after the physicist Enrico Fermi, who famously just blurted out at Los Alamos in 1950, "Where is everybody?"
The paradox essentially highlights this massive, confusing gap. On one hand, you have the highly likely probability that advanced extraterrestrial life is all around us, and on the other, you have the total, absolute lack of conclusive evidence that they're actually out there. So how do scientists actually solve this great silence? Well, there are three top scientific theories floating around right now. Number one, the universe is just unimaginably huge, and our nearest neighbors are simply too far away for our current technology to detect their radio or laser signals. Number two, life is out there, but it's trapped in buried subsurface oceans, kind of like what we see under the icy crusts of Jupiter's or Saturn's moons. Or number three, we are simply way too early in the cosmological timeline, and the window between a civilization putting out a technosignature and hitting an extinction event is just incredibly brief. But honestly, whatever the answer actually is, the search simply has to go on. As the great Carl Sagan famously put it, the universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, it seems like an awful waste of space. It's a quote that hits the nail on the head, perfectly capturing that awe-inspiring perspective that drives astrobiologists to just keep looking up. Every single telescope we build and every rover we launch teaches us a little bit more about the cosmos and our own place within it.
Which brings us to the end of today's Explainer, and I really want to turn this over to you. What do you think is waiting to be discovered out there in the dark? Are we looking at microscopic oceans on K2-18b, or maybe artificial relics drifting right through our own solar system? Let us know your theories in the comments. And hey, if you want to keep exploring these huge scientific mysteries with us in a clear, straightforward way, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for exploring with us.